This is our lesson on proportions, and we'll start out with two different proportions here. The first one, 3/10 equals x over 90. Okay. So proportions are anytime you have two ratios that are equal to each other, a ratio just being a fraction. Okay. So one way you can look at a problem like this, this one's a little bit easier, is you might notice that on the bottom, to go from 10 to 90, you'd have to multiply by 9. So on the top, we would have to do the same thing. To go from 3 to x, we'd have to multiply by 9. 3 times 9 is 27. So x must equal 27. However, sometimes we may be faced with a problem like this one here. 4 over 7 equals 13 over x. Might not be as clear what we need to multiply by to go to the other fraction. So what we can do is we can get rid of the fractions. In both of these fractions, we're dividing by something. We're dividing by 7, we're dividing by x. So to undo division, we multiply. To undo dividing by 7, we'd multiply by 7. To undo dividing by x, we'd multiply by x. So I'm just going to put those on the top of each one of my fractions. When you multiply by a whole number, you're multiplying the top of the fraction by that number. So we're going to have 4 times 7 times x. And we're going to have 13 times 7 times x. Now we can see that there's a 7 on the top and a 7 on the bottom here. 7 divided by 7 is just 1. So we don't need that, because when you multiply by 1, it doesn't change anything. So we have x times 4 left, 4x. On the right side, we have an x on top and an x on the bottom. X divided by x is just 1. Multiplied by 1 doesn't change anything. So we're left with 7 times 13, which is 91. 4x equals 91. To get rid of the 4, we have to divide. 91 divided by 4 is just 91/4, or 22.75. Many times, though, when you see proportions, you don't just see the fractions, you're given a word problem. If you need 2 1/4 cups flour to make 36 cookies, how much would you need to make 100 cookies? So the first thing you need to do is be able to set up your proportions. 2 1/4 cups, or 2.25 cups for every 36 cookies. That should be equal to x cups for every 100 cookies. We're trying to solve for how many cups, so that's going to be x. Notice, both of these, we've got the cups on top, the cookies on the bottom. Also, the 2.25 is the number of cups needed for the 36 cookies. We could also write this as this proportion over here. X cups over 2.25 cups equals 100 cookies over 36 cookies. So notice this time the cups are both on one side, the cookies are both on one side. On the top are both of the values from our second set of cookies. On the bottom, those are the values from our first set of cookies. Okay. So there are a number of different ways that you can set up this proportion. The one way that you can't set it up, you can't have the two values from the same part of the problem, so 2 1/4 cups and 36 cookies. You can't have them diagonal from each other. Okay, so if we've got 2.25 cups up here, we can't have 36 cookies diagonal from that, because they need to be together somehow. They either need to be in the same column or the same row. Now, just like on the last problem, we're dividing by 36 here, we're dividing by 100 there. To undo division, we multiply by 36 and we multiply by 100. So on the left, we have 36 times 100 times 2.25. all over 36. On the right, we have 36 times 100 times x, all over 100. And now we can see that if we're multiplying by 36 and dividing by 36, those are going to cancel each other out. So we have 100 times 2.25, which is 225. On the right, if we multiply by 100 and divide by 100, those cancel each other out. And we're left with 36 times x, or just 36x. So we have 225 equals 36x. To find x, we divide by 36 on both sides. 225 divided by 36 is 6.25. So x equals 6.25. Our label is cups. We can see that because we labeled it in the problem that we wrote up above.